Hey, what's up, YouTubers? I just want to make a short little video on how I learned Spanish and one way of going about it. One of the best ways to go about it is to come down here and go to a language school. When I was in my 20s, I did that in San Cristobal de las Casas in Mexico. At that time, it wasn't too expensive, but nowadays a cheaper alternative is to come down to Xela, Guatemala, and sign up for a language school. And if you really work hard and are determined, I would say in about 6 weeks you're going to be able to learn Spanish. Well, the basics. But before you come down, I just want to point out a really cool way to learn Spanish, and it's by Timothy Moser, and it's called Accelerated Spanish, and it's a book he has. If you're on Kindle Unlimited, it's just free. But anyways, he has a method where he teaches grammar and basic Spanish with the memory palace tree, where you memorize images and you put those images in Spanish. And generally speaking, you have a house or a room in a house, and you have different things in the house, and you assign each thing a Spanish word, and that's how you memorize Spanish. And it works really well for grammar, and it works really well for basic sentence structure. What I like about Timothy Moser is he puts it down in a certain order which makes sense, and it may be hard at first, but if you learn the basic grammar and sentence structure, it's easy to learn Spanish, and it will help you a lot more when you come down here and go to a language school. So that's why I suggest accelerated Spanish. It's the style of learning and from your memory, and it's also the steps he takes the right steps at the right time. So you're working on one step at a time, and it builds like compound interest can build, and it just builds on itself, and it will help you tremendously, even if you don't go to Spanish school. But if you do go to a Spanish school, he teaches you all the pronouns in a way that makes sense, and how to conjugate verbs and all that when it's appropriate. He also has a YouTube site. You can check his stuff out for free on there. But if you want the book, I'll put a link in the description. When I was really young, my first book on how to learn Spanish was Maduro's Magic Key to Spanish. And it's illustrated by Andy Warhol, in case that's important to you. But anyways, it's a really cool book. I got it, and I learned a lot of Spanish that way when I was a kid. It's very basic, and it teaches you how to make basic sense and basic sentence structure, and everyday Spanish you would just use when you're traveling around. Anyways, I found it the most useful book. Most books, the way they teach it doesn't make sense to me, so maybe this would be a helpful book for you. It makes sense to me, and I really enjoyed it. One more book by this lady is Say It in Spanish. You can get that too. That's a pretty cool book. But anyways, I just wanted to mention there's a couple cool books you can use if you want to learn Spanish, and this book is really one I recommend for people starting out. And then if you're really serious about Spanish, get Accelerated Spanish. It's a really fast way to learn the basic structure of Spanish. And they teach you how to think in Spanish. So when you learn how to think in Spanish and say things in Spanish, it will make more sense to you. Whereas if you come down here and go to Spanish school first, a lot of it doesn't really make sense. And not that they're doing anything wrong, but they explain things that's kind of confusing. But if you have Timothy Moser, he explains it, how they think and how they build the sentence structures and basic grammar. Anyways, I'll put the links for those books in the descriptions, and if you're having a tough time learning Spanish, you might want to consider those as an alternative. And then after you use these, sign up for a Spanish school if you're able to come down to Central America and learn Spanish. Anyways, thanks, and like, share, subscribe, and put in the comments how you learn Spanish. Thank you.